As Mary Rose said, I work for a healthcare consulting company called Costello Medical. So we're based in Cambridge, London and Singapore, and we work with the pharmaceutical industry, the public sector and charity clients to provide scientific support in the analysis, interpretation and communication of both clinical and health economic data. And today I'm going to be talking about a topic that is very relevant to this audience, which is how to make the most out of the expert opinion that you have available to you in a rare disease, and what we as a consultancy kind of do more and more, which is run Delphi panels. So I'll tell you a little bit about those. So I have spoken at a few of these events, so I won't bore you with the details of Costello, but did want to announce that earlier this year in February we launched our rare diseases team. So I'm very proud to just show this slide of the wonderful people I get to work with. And this was set up so that we could tailor our services particularly for all of you, so the orphan and ultra-orphan drug sector. And that is what we're now very proud to be able to do. So why do we need expert opinion? So in rare diseases, there's often a real absence of literature, and as Robert alluded to, a lot of uncertainty. And so this is kind of an example of one of the challenges one of our clients might face. So they've got an imaginatively named drug called Drug A, which was granted marketing authorization by the EMA, but it was granted under exceptional circumstances, which recognises that it's hard to get data in this area and that there's a real unmet need. And so say it's been tested in like 15 patients over 52 weeks in a phase 2 single-arm trial. And rates of disease progression are slower than would be expected, but that's by comparison to a natural history cohort that was 5 years old. So this is kind of what we're looking at, which has some interesting challenges for all of us. But basically, the upshot of all of this is we want to know how well does this drug work and how much is it worth? And here are some of the questions that might be of interest, so in terms of how well the drug works. Are these patients representative? What happens on the long term? And what is the quality of life impact of this drug? And then there's the question of slower than expected, and if something's not statistically significant, do you need anything at all? And then when it comes to how much is it worth, so it depends where you're looking. What's the standard of care? How much does that standard of care cost in that particular country of interest? And other costs associated with the drug, so administering and monitoring these patients, adverse events, and the whole package of the patient experience. So as you can see, it's an uncertain situation, which is when you turn to the people that know best, which are the patients and healthcare professionals that have the most experience in this rare disease. And so we can bring these people up. They're very kind people that often offer up a lot of information, but when you need to take this information forward as data to present to you, for example, NICE, what you want is to be able to make it as structured and systematic as you possibly can. And more companies are looking to techniques like the Delphi method to do this. You can do a Delphi in 100,000 different ways, but we've got 3 minutes left. So the key things that you need to bear in mind is it's an iterative process. So actually you ask a group of people the same set of questions multiple times and see how their responses change. You provide controlled feedback, so you tell the participants, okay, you said this, the whole group said this, what do you now think is effectively what you're trying to do? And you're aiming to get consensus, and that might be consensus we agree, consensus we disagree, but that's what you're aiming to do. And you're aiming also to have anonymity, so the idea is that you don't know who else has taken part, you don't know what a particular massive big dog in the field has said, you know, you're just looking at your response versus the group. And these Delphi panels can be used to generate treatment guidelines, really relevant in rare diseases where often they're not even in existence, provide inputs for economic models, something that we do a lot, and provide opinion on current patient care and unmet medical needs. So I'm going to talk you through the overarching way that they work in this last minute. So basically you've got to prepare, you've got to set up any research task with a research question in a team, and you agree before you start key methodological points such as your consensus threshold. In your round 1, you ask all of your participants to complete a questionnaire. And those questions could be based on the literature designed by a steering committee, or really open-ended questions where you basically say, okay group, what do we want to know the answer to? And then you distribute that to participants, they respond, you look at the results, every place where they've agreed with each other, take them out, you ask all the other questions again, perhaps rewording them, restating them, and you repeat. Usually for 3 rounds until you see whether you've got consensus. So There's a lot more to Delphi than those 5 minutes. So if you do want to find out more, we did some really fun research actually looking at the use of Delphi methods to achieve consensus and guidelines in rare diseases. So if anyone wants that poster, I can send that on to them. And here's a few sort of further reading points that we recommend and we've really enjoyed. But thank you very much for your time and for